Flush with stock market gains in the 1920s, the nation celebrated its wealth in a frenzy of opulence. Some wealthy Chicagoans would set sail to Paris, the fashion capital of the world, to purchase their wardrobes from its most exclusive fashion houses. In Hollywood, millions of dollars of investment sparked a golden age in movie making. Glamorous stars, sporting glittering costumes, performed on lavish sets. Enthralled audiences from all walks of life could experience that glamour firsthand as theater owners built larger, more magnificent picture palaces. In the 1920s, people dressed up to go out, even to the cinema, sometimes sporting styles that had been featured on the big screen just weeks before. Prosperity seemed destined to never end. But it came to a screeching halt when the stock market crashed on October 29, 1929. When the Great Depression struck, Chicago was one of the hardest hit cities in the country. Thousands lost their jobs. In the early 1930s, unemployment in Chicago was nearly 50%. Hollywood saw opportunity in the crisis. Instead of cutting back, studios made ever more extravagant movies designed to transport their audience to the refuge of a fantasy world. A nickel could buy up to 4 hours of entertaining distraction. And each week, 85 million Americans flocked to the movies to find relief from the misery of the Great Depression. To escape from the uncertainty and anxiety of their daily lives, moviegoers imagine themselves in a glistening world of elegance and fashion. Costume designers such as Howard Greer, Adrian, and Irene became famous for creating dazzling gowns and ensembles worn by the most popular stars of the day, both on and off the movie sets. In 1932, Adrian created a fashion craze with a gown designed for Joan Crawford to wear in MGM's feature Letty Linton. Gowns inspired by Adrian's white organdy confection became wildly popular, with tens of thousands sold by Macy's and other retailers, even Sears catalog. And store-bought sewing patterns allowed women of modest means to make their own Letty Linton gowns. Studio publicity departments were quick to capitalize on the public's fascination with movie costumes and supplied fan magazines with photographs and scoops of what stars would be wearing in upcoming features. It wasn't long before studios began selling the fashions of their in-house designers in the retail market. In 1930, Macy's became the first department store to include a cinema fashion shop that sold film-inspired fashions for those who could afford the elegant gowns and daywear they offered. Studios even targeted the heartland to sell their Hollywood-branded fashion.
You say it's the same as Joan Crawford wears in her new picture? It's styled the same, and it definitely reflects the Hollywood influence.
The garments may have been made with cheaper fabrics and less tailoring than the screen version.
Dad, may I have it?
It's yours.
But women were thrilled to own and wear them. To meet the demand, dress factories hummed with activity. And the home seamstress could make her own movie-inspired frock with a pattern from the Hollywood Pattern Company. With the advent of World War II and the Nazi occupation of Paris in 1940, the city became isolated, and most fashion houses closed, not to reopen until after the war, if at all. When the U.S. entered the war, those on the home front were subject to widespread rationing that extended to clothing restrictions. Skirts became slimmer, hemlines rose, simplicity became patriotic. Hollywood remained in the business of glamour, although its female stars were clothed with new restraint and sober elegance. Through good times and bad, Hollywood's talented pool of costume designers had secured America's place as a fashion innovator and leader. with looks that were contemporary, self-assured, bold, independent, sassy, and glamorous.